tools, script. Good. Boom. There we go. All right. If you guys are watching this after the fact, we're going to have Nicholas Sansbury Smith on in a few minutes. Probably right around the time this hit 00:00. So come check that out. I just realized don't even know if I did any script prep for today to let you know all the stuff that we have going on. So we're going to take a look at that right now. And then as people come in live, of course, we say hello to the people who are live. If you're watching this after the fact, we do this live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. You guys should join us for that. Nick and I have been troubleshooting a bunch. Make sure everything's ready for y'all. Who we got coming in here? Where's my chat room at? Lost my chat app. Get it up? Nobody yet. Okay. Put this over here for now. Hopefully all goes well. We'll see. All right, we have one person on YouTube popping in. It's a little bit of a slow run getting everything out there to the internets today. And here we go. Christine, no SMS text. I sent it. Maybe you should sign up for it again. I'll put the link in there. If I can remember where the link is. Christine, just email info@emptyset. We'll get that taken care of for you. I'll go in under the hood, the software hood, and see what is going on. All right. Christine, Christine, oddly enough, you're the only one here right now. There's one other YouTuber. A little bit slow. We got a couple minutes, though. A little bit slow for things to get caught up. That's all right. It's the way it goes. It is super hot here in San Diego. What was it today? It's so hot the phone don't work. Zach, how you doing? Zach says, you were on my headset and I have no idea where the f it is. That's all right. That's all right, everybody. Dun, dun, dun. Zach's here. Zach, I don't know if, Zach, are you a fan of Nicholas Sansbury Smith's work? Is that why you've come to join us today? If so, you're in the right place. We're going to get all kinds of not only creative, but the business. We're going to get into the business of writing. It's going to be great. Definitely a little slow on the uptake getting everything out to the world today. So we'll just, we'll keep going. Nicholas is in the green room right now. Nicholas, if you want to share that link again to everybody in your socials, go crazy. People are starting to trickle in. Nothing on, looks like we got some kind of glitch on Facebook, oddly enough, which is unfortunate because that's where most of Nicholas's fans are. Christine says 93 degrees Fahrenheit. It feels like 103 in the Austin area. Malachi, wait, Nicholas Sansbury Smith. Is my favorite author really having my second favorite author as a guest? Yes. Yes, it is. And I totally understand why you like Nicholas' work. I do too. Zach Parrish says, I just saw the sexy bald do the handlebar and I was like, gotta see this. That's right, buddy. Just trimmed it. I went about 4 days without doing any grooming whatsoever and realized that about 15 minutes before the show started. Like, I gotta get rid of all this. It looked like I've been in the jungles with Tom Hanks and talking to a volleyball for crying out loud. It's not good. David Lamb's in the house too, another big Nicholas Sansbury Smith fan. Yes, hopefully no technical issues. Nicholas and I were on last night, kind of got everything dialed in. I've been working on it. I wouldn't say nonstop, putting a lot of time trying to figure out what was going on. One of the problems was his own voice was echoing in his ears, and that was the setting on my side. Then, of course, we had the bandwidth issues that were purely on his side. You put those two things together, made for a hell of a day at sea, sir. All right. After the chat, A is going to come up. We're going to talk about my experiences at San Diego Comic-Con and Imaginarium Con in Kentucky. Did both of those in the last 2 weeks. Cobalt is also here for NSS as well. Digging it. Hey, Dawn. How you doing? Let's see. Let's get to the main here and do our advertising thing, which we got to do. It's the way the bills get paid, bitches. Nope, got to go to main. Boom. Of course, our primary sponsor, if you need a new website, a new domain, you want to go to GoDaddy.com. You want to use the code CJCFOSSIG3 because that will save you 99% in the first year of a new 3-year domain registration. It's actually a pretty darn good deal. Quince.com is that's your source for clothing for the summer, for stuff that's really affordable yet looks snazzy and is good enough for work and good enough for play. It's all good. Go to quince.com/SIGLER Sigler, because that gets you 365-day returns on anything you get there, which means you can try it out a couple times, make sure it fits your style. Who doesn't, you get to send it back and you get free shipping, but only at that link, you guys. And stamps.com, 20-year plus sponsor now. Code Sigler100 if you need to ship anything, send anything. If you're a maker, any kind of small business, medium business, you definitely want to be using stamps.com. You can print USPS postage right from your own printer, slap it up, flip it down. Oh no. And it works great. Use the code Sigler100. You are good. Hi, Bumblebean. Bumblebean, as I think just described my mustache as the Sigler Tickler. Calm down. Calm down. Let's go to chat. A couple more minutes and we'll bring Nicholas on. We're going to have a kind of a fun discussion about sort of author's dreams. You publish something with one author, and then after a while, authors kind of move on a little bit mentally and like look at all the shiny new stuff. And we're talking to Nicholas about how he got the rights back to his Extinction Cycle, what he's doing with it, etc. If you are in the Milwaukee area, I will be at Dragon Con. I've got panels on July 20. That's totally wrong. Dragon Con's coming up. I will have panels. I don't know what those panels are just yet. And looks like we obviously had a couple things go live in the feed during the course of the week. One is I tell what you may find hilarious story about my first book tour when I was in a radio tour for 20 morning drive radio stations across the U.S. and had some bad cookies the night before and was violently ill through the entire 20 tour thing. And it did not go well, but A and I recap. That's in the feed at scottsigler.com/subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the feed, go do that. And then, I forget the other thing we talked about. It was pretty interesting though. I'll tell you that. Oh, we talked about the changes that are going to be for Galactic Football League Book 7. It's going to be different than the first 6 books. Remember, we haven't put out a book in that series in 5 years, and everything has changed in the publishing industry since then. So things are going to be a lot different. Thank you, Cobalt. Reminds me, if you're watching on YouTube, click the like, ring the bell, make sure you are subscribed, do all of that stuff, and comment. That's always very, very helpful to everything. Who we got in the chat room now? Recluse Mage in the house. Icicle Trippin', you're entering your WWE career as Sergeant Sigler. Hey, Sergeant Slaughter was a great, great character, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. Actually, I saw Sergeant Slaughter, oddly enough, at Comic-Con. Walked right by his table. He's still looking pretty good, not going to lie. Definitely older than way back when, but doing very good. Zach, do I prefer YouTube or Twitch? I don't know if you're asking me or not. I don't care as long as you're... I don't mind as long as you're happy. That's all I care about, Dala, if you're happy. Chris Southwick and the Horse. Pre-ordered the new Helldivers audiobook today and Sons of War series. Just finished all 8 Dungeon Crawler Carl books. Waiting for Scott's content to be out. Let's go to main. Let's go ahead and get rid of the timer. We'll gotta wait till our party on sign shows up. Here we go. Party. Let's get Nicholas back. Asked to unmute. You can unmute Nicholas whenever you get a chance. And chat and remove that. And then let's go to guest. And let's see. Nicholas, can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellente. Let me get this thing recording before I forget and screw everything up. Welcome to Scott Sigler Slices. I am Scott Sigler, a sci-fi, horror, and sports fiction author, otherwise known as the future Dark Overlord. Ariel Girl herself will not be on this particular podcast, but she will be on the next podcast in the series. Joining me today is fellow author, best-selling author, entrepreneur, and one of my buddies, and I'm a big fan of his work, Nicholas Sansbury Smith. Nicholas, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Sorry about last week, but I'm glad we were able to get this rescheduled.
For those of you listening at home, last week, we had him on last week, and there was a plethora of technical difficulties. Some on his end, some on my end, but we worked all week long, worked our fingers to the bone, and it looks like we've got things figured out. Hold on one second here. Stop that. Record that. No point in recording an empty mic. All right, Steve, cut that out, and we're going to jump back into it. Okay. Malachi's losing his mind over tonight's episode. Scott Sigler and NSS are goats, fanboying so damn hard. Well, that's delightful, absolutely delightful. Dear Nicholas, it sounds like we've got a whole bunch of your fans are my fans too, and they are excited and surprised that you are on. Maybe they missed last week's debacle, I don't know, but they're very happy that you are here. And I do think there's definitely some commonalities in our
For
two
sure.
approaches to storytelling. Do you think there are commonalities in there?
I do. Not only just in like the prose that but obviously the genre
Mm-hmm.
and some of the storytelling too. We both kind of like sci-fi horror blend. I think we've probably been inspired by some of the same IPs, right? Like
Oh yeah,
Aliens, for example.
for
I just saw
sure.
someone had just finished Phalanx. Brandon Wong commented that. I remember when that came out a couple years ago, was super psyched to see you writing that. And
So fun.
uh, yeah, I think we have a lot of commonalities, probably more than we even realize.
Yep. And it's also Nicholas is more, I think, more advanced on the entrepreneurial side of things. He's at least gotten a lot more accomplished. But definitely, we are two authors that have taken the vast majority of our career into our own hands. We put out our own books in addition to publishing with mid-sized, large publishers, etc. There's a lot of fan service. I was just talking before the show. Nicholas has a Patreon for his fans. I have a
Mhm.
thing called Supporting Cast for mine, which is basically like a Patreon that's podcast centric. But before we get into this discussion about the extinction cycle, have you always been really hands on as far as your work and the fans go, or when you started out, you're like, I got a publisher, I don't have to do anything but write.
Yeah, the only reason I got a publisher was because I was so hands-on, I think. I mean, I realized in the very beginning stages of this business that there's Amazon opened doors to people like me that could self-publish a manuscript and find an audience. And I was just talking about this actually at LibertyCon, and in that on that panel we had some very historic authors, meaning some guys that have been around since like the 80s, right? Like I think S.M. Sterling, for example, was on that panel.
Mm.
He's been around since the 80s. And he mentioned back then self-publishing was the kiss of death. Um, but then 2007, around that time, I think when Amazon really started to create this storefront where self-published books could get seen and find an audience, that's when things started to take off and change a little bit in the publishing industry. I came in about 2013, and right out the gate, I was trying to find readers however I could on Goodreads, even on Facebook Marketplace, which is a whole nother story that is a little bit embarrassing, but hey. I found an audience and I learned how to market my books, and I've never really looked back. I've always kind of hustled in that way. But
Mhm.
I would say as far as entrepreneurs go, you are 100% an entrepreneur too. You do the whole podcast thing. I mean, you're one of the most well-known podcasters, oldest running podcasts, and I can't remember exactly what that title is for, but you
It's
guys have been
the
around for a
currently
while.
we figured this out a couple of months ago. Without a doubt, it's the world's longest running fiction podcast, hands down.
Wow,
And it is one of three of the oldest podcasts that are still in production. So
that's amazing.
that's kind of crazy to think back. And I wasn't the first one
Really.
in, but there was, a whole bunch of people who got in before me, but most of those people have tapered off.
Yeah,
And because it's an enormous amount of work, and
for sure.
you don't always bring in a lot of revenue for a podcast depending on what your content is. But that's
Yeah.
now there's people who've leapfrogged me with full cast audio, and the kids out there are doing great stuff. But we're long in the tooth, and we're very long running, so that's pretty good.
And I
Um,
think it helps your books too, right? Like you
oh,
have
without a
your
doubt.
audience here. It's a great way to connect to people.
Hmm.
Readers love to talk to the authors. And
Yes,
this is a great way to do that.
and you do that. You've done that from square one on Facebook. I assume from your website. You've found a way to interact directly with them, and I feel that is what really makes super fans. You got fans who love your stuff, then they get
Yeah.
a chance to interact with you just a little bit, see that you're not a jerk, and they're like, "Well, now I like it even more." I do that to the podcast, being in their ears every week. Over the years, how have you maintained direct contact with the fans who want to reach out to you?
Um, Facebook has always kind of been my main model where I've engaged people through videos. Instagram, I've moved over. I usually cross post on Instagram now. So if fans want to find me, it's on Instagram and Facebook. I also have a pretty large newsletter, which I keep trimming back. And, when new people get added to it and old people don't stop opening the emails, I try to keep it a very like active newsletter.
Okay.
So got about 10,000 people on there in any given month. And that's how I get my new releases out or my big like if I'm doing a giveaway, for example, or if I'm recommending my buddy Scott's book, for example, that's how I do that. Facebook is where I like to post my videos.
Hmm.
But I'd say the biggest way that I've found or the best way to connect with fans over the years, I was just telling you this, but it's patches. I know this sounds crazy, but like I can't tell you how many of my readers wear these things on their backpacks or
Yeah.
their bug out bags or their range bags. And I have like I think I've made like 20 different patches now. And I'm
Oh,
gonna give away some of these Extinction Cycle ones tonight. But like I'm
that's
constantly
great.
talking to readers like, hey, you read my book, you left me a review, you shared my book. Let me thank you. Here's a free patch. It's like and then that kind of makes me not only have I had a conversation one on one with that person, but they have a piece of my work that they can carry around.
Yep.
It's like free merchandising, right? And people love them. I love my patches. They're Velcro, they just stick anywhere. So I think that's one way that I've really connected with fans over the years. I also am pretty active with selling like signed products, signed books on my website. And then there's one other thing I've done. I'm going to show you real quick.
Okay.
I have a buddy Chris Thompson is he runs a 3D printing business called Renegade Prints,
Hmm.
3D Prints.
Okay.
And he's done so many statues for me. Like as you can see, I
Oh,
have
wow. Those are great,
Helldivers.
dude.
These are different Helldiver statues. So we have like King X with Miles. I don't know if this
Now,
is
are
a
those
good.
just for you or does he sell those?
No, so I sell them on my website and I have little limited edition cards. I number each one, I sign the card, and like here's a new one that I haven't even started selling yet. This is for the book that I've been giving away in my Patreon. This is Dawn of the Ronin. So this is Helldivers. This is a samurai or Ronin, I guess, in this case. And as you can see, it's huge, but
It's huge.
he's making these and the
Is there
techno
a, is there a cost involved with him making like the first one?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I commissioned him to do the 3D print, the file, and then um, some people that in this business will just you'll just buy the 3D file from them and then you'll print them. Like I have my own 3D printer, but he does all the printing, he does the painting,
Okay.
and here are my new Extinction Cycle ones, which I'm doing a giveaway on my website for these two. But like these are I'm gonna take him off the thing real quick, but the quality of these are amazing. I
Looks
mean, this
awesome.
looks like an action figure. I guess it's kind of hard to see. Um, I don't want to drop that. Okay, I'll put that back on later. I've broken a lot of these over the years, but he's also made me a full Helldivers cosplay outfit. Here's the helmet right here. And then,
Wow. That's great, man.
yeah, so yeah, I'm really into that stuff, and I think fans like them. Also, here's a sneak peek at the Helldivers Special Edition. This is one variation of it. So
Who's
as you can
putting that
see,
out? Is
that's
that
Blackstone.
Blackstone? Good.
So yeah, we're gonna do a Kickstarter. Keeps getting pushed back, but it sounds like in August it's good to go. Here's like five different versions of
Oh,
the
wow.
book. So,
I got a lot of jealousy and envy going on right now. There's a lot of cool stuff there.
well, we can talk about Kickstarter too. And I mean, offline, online.
Hmm.
I think there's your books have a lot of options in that realm. And that's another thing, as you probably see this all the time. Like lit RPG Kickstarters are making some of them are making like seven figures.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
Sci-fi is different, but I do expect Helldivers to find a decent audience on Kickstarter, and
Hmm.
happy to
We'll
talk
chat
with
about
you
it because
about that.
with what we
Yeah.
do, we did our first, book 15 years ago or something like that. The Rookie, which is book one of the Galactic Football League series,
Yeah.
we predated Kickstarter. So we took all the money up front. We did a Kickstarter before there was a
Yeah.
Kickstarter. And then as Kickstarter came in, we sort of had a pretty good system where we bring the money in, use that to make the book. We send the book because we signed and numbered everything.
Hmm.
And I think Kickstarter has changed over the years, but it from our side, it looked a little more complicated than what we were doing. But we're getting out of the whole printing of books business. So some kind of Kickstarter thing might be cool. I'll
Yeah.
follow up on that with you after for sure. And also definitely on those models
Yeah.
and patches. Super cool.
Oh yeah, there's a lot that I think, and my Kickstarter is gonna have patches and models with the actual book as in different tiers. I will say one last thing
Sweet.
about Kickstarter. They bring a different marketing to the game
Okay.
element to the game now. So there's a huge audience on there, and this audience keeps growing. People love these special editions. That's a good way to reach them too.
Yep. Yeah, we'll definitely chit chat about that. But for now, let's talk about the Extinction Cycle. That's kind of what we wanted to focus
Yeah.
on because you are
Yep.
relaunching this series. So to lead off, tell us what Extinction Cycle is about. Then we'll get into the nitty gritty after that.
Okay. So the Extinction Cycle is it was my first, actually my second major um, book deal, my second series as well. It's about a special elite forces, it's Delta Force, named Team Ghost, and there's an outbreak. It is a zombie type book, but what I did when I wrote Extinction Cycle was bring real science to the genre. So I throughout this book series, one of the main characters is a CDC scientist, and I use her point of view to tell the story and explain exactly how this virus was engineered and how it turned men and women into monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I think makes it a little bit more terrifying. These people are very sick. They're not dead. They're infected and they're fast movers, which I think is the scarier type of the genre. And I wrote this back in 2013, 2014, took off on Amazon, started off as 3 books, expanded to 5, then 7. When it expanded to 6, that's when Orbit came in and said, "Hey, let's let us take over. We'll do mass market paperbacks. We'll get these books wide off Amazon." And I took that risk, that
And
gamble.
were you in talks with them, or did they just see they were like, "Hey, this cat's selling a bunch of books. We want to get in business with them."
Part of it was DJ Molay at the time. His remaining series went to Orbit, and
Mm-hmm.
his agent is my agent.
Ah,
And the other commonality is my editor at Orbit had moved from Simon and Schuster, and she had discovered my Orb series and bought Orbs. And Simon and Schuster put Orbs out in paperback and ebook and turned it into a 3 book series with some short stories. And that came out in 2014. Simon
okay.
451 was the imprint back then. Then she moved to Orbit, and she one day I got an email from my agent saying, "Hey, Orbit's interested in the Extinction Cycle now." So that's how that came to be.
Okay. And so you have Extinction Cycle was with a publisher, and now you are re-releasing it. So
Right.
give us if you can give us kind of the timeline between why you decided I need to get control of this stuff back, and then how you got control of that stuff back.
Okay. Yeah, so think that was about 2019, 2018, the last book came out. And, all books have a shelf life and they really kind of ran their course.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I put out a second season of the Extinction Cycle. I self-published those. It's called Dark Age. Those started coming out in 2020, 2021. I hired RC Bray to do the narration for those in
Mm-hmm.
ACX, and the whole idea was to have 2 separate seasons. But then when the first 7 books through Orbit stopped selling, I started saying, okay, can we get the rights back? I'd gotten the rights back from Orbs by then. I paid for those rights. What I hadn't earned out, I paid. It
So
was only like
let's let's
5,000.
let's pause there.
Yeah.
This is what's
Yeah.
interesting to me. You've got a
Yeah.
publisher. But it sounds like they did pretty good by you for a while with this series.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
you're the kind of guy, you're kind of the author who understands there's well over a billion English English language readers in the world, and you're like, I was it you didn't think they were pushing it hard enough? Because there is a shelf life to a series. A series runs out,
Right.
the people are going to buy it. The publisher goes into the back catalog. They don't really try. What was your thought process behind? I need to get control of these back and do something else with it.
Yeah, they just stopped selling altogether. There was no marketing behind the books at all. The
Okay.
publisher was unresponsive, but that's very typical. Like, I wasn't upset about it. That's just how it works in this business. But where the author can, and especially with an agent, can um, come back to the table and say, "Hey, I'd like to take a shot at launching these books if you guys aren't going to do anything with them." And so we had years and years of these sorts of emails to the publisher saying, "Hey, can we have the rights back? They're not selling."
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was willing at one point, I think, to offer some money back from him, but it never came to that. One day I just got an email from my agent said, "Hey, great news. They are willing to sign the books back over."
Oh my gosh.
Um, but there was no coordination at all. All of a sudden, the books came down in December of last year, and so there was no handoff. I didn't get the files. I had to recreate all the files. It took
Mm,
me probably 40 or 50 hours of recreating these books because I had the paperbacks, but I didn't have the final ebook files. I had the self-published files, but when they went to orbit, they were re-edited and new content was added, so I didn't have those files.
okay.
And they would not give them to me. It's against their policy. Totally get that. But I went and recreated them, and then I decided to work with Athon, who you know Athon, they're great.
Yeah, they published my Crypt series and the upcoming Slay series, which should be out towards the end of the year.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so they took over all the the new covers, the formatting, just updating the books, and we're re-releasing them about one every month. And
So
I'm also,
this is fascinating, right? Because you had a publisher put these books out. They did well, but then that series runs its course and they sort
right.
of set it down. And now
Yeah.
Athon comes in younger, faster, smarter, hungrier. And do they see an opportunity if with their marketing acumen and your brand, they think they're going to find a whole bunch of brand new readers who've not experienced this before?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things is the Extinction Cycle was never in Kindle Unlimited. Orbit was anti-KU. I think they actually are now in KU in some of their
Okay,
books. And they did offer to put like book 3 and 5 in KU at one point, but that made zero sense.
right.
Like you put book 1 in KU, if anything, and then probably book 2, 3, and especially in a big long series like this. So yeah, Athon definitely saw that. This series has 100,000 reviews across audio and ebook, and the paperbacks sold well. They knew the paperbacks weren't going to sell as well. They're just doing print on demand, but they knew the ebook had some major opportunity with Kindle Unlimited. So the launch so far has just been book 1, and we decided to do some really cool things with it that I can talk about to explain how we're trying to get the book selling again.
Okay. So
Um,
so you've got the rights back, gave the rights to Athon or sold the rights to however you guys are working that out. And I sounds like you're excited, they're excited. What's the
oh yeah.
steps? Now you've got new covers, you got all this. What were the steps
Yep.
from the point where like Athon, you and Athon do the big handshake and get to work? What happened after that?
Then I got to work on recreating these files because we were like, where are the files? My agent kept trying to get the files, and we finally figured out like 3 months after they got taken down that I can't get the files. So that was a big thing on my end. But after that, it was just Athon re-edited the books just to make sure. I mean, they'd been edited so thoroughly, but then we started coming up with a marketing plan, and I spoke too fast there. But basically, the books had been edited so thoroughly, the editing was not that bad. But I did go in and actually add some things into the earlier books that I wanted to add in, that
Mm-hmm.
I always kind of wanted to add in. And I wrote a novella about Team Ghost, one of their first missions. They're the main characters,
Okay.
and the whole idea was to put that into book 1, which is what we did to market it as a new thing. And then the new covers started rolling out, and
Great. All right,
yeah,
we're gonna continue the story. Got to take a quick break, and we'll
okay,
be back right after this short message.
okay,
And then that happens in post. So then you and I just jump right back in. So I'll
okay,
reintroduce you.
okay,
This is Scott Sigler Slices. We're on with Nicholas Sansbury Smith, a best-selling author and entrepreneur who recently regained control of his Extinction Cycle series. And let's continue. So you do the you get recreate the document, you recreate the manuscript with all the changes, etc. That sounded like a laborious process. And then now you've got it. You hand that off to Athon. What happens after that?
then they put the publishing dates up, and we start figuring out all the different marketing things, which
Mm-hmm.
honestly, it's so automated now. I mean, you're talking Facebook ads for pre-orders,
Right.
AMS ads just to get things going in the ecosystem, and then DSB, it sounds like a small budget for that. I started doing like, I wanted to do something for patches, so I created a new Extinction Cycle patch. And by the way, anyone that is on this or watching this, if you order an ebook of the new Extinction Horizon book, which includes Killzone, the new novella, um, post a screenshot in the comments or personal message me, Nicholas Sansbury Smith, and I will give you one of these badges.
Dang, son, that's
That's all
awesome.
it takes. It's either an ebook or a paperback. We're doing an audio giveaway eventually. I haven't even talked about that, but we're redoing the audiobooks too.
Okay.
Those rights came back or Blackstone agreed to give me those rights back. Um, we can talk about that. I don't want to confuse people too much right now. The Athon relaunch does include the audio, but we haven't gotten there yet because of some technical difficulties with the narrator. Um, but the ebook and paperback are already rolling out. Extinction Horizon hit Amazon last week in
Great.
both formats,
And
and it's
narrated by
selling.
Bronson Pinchot too, as well, right? That's what's
Right,
coming up.
that's he's the narrator of the first season, books 1 through 7. And also, by the way, there's a ton of side stories because Extinction Cycle was a Kindle World at one point.
Okay.
So a bunch of other authors came in and wrote in this sandbox. There's multiple other series in the Extinction Cycle world written by other authors.
How do you
My
can you get those back, or do those just continue to exist
I
on
have
Kindle?
those. When Kindle Worlds went away, all those stories were unpublished. So what I did was I took all of those stories through my small press and republished some on Amazon, gave them new covers, doing the same thing Athon's doing for me now. I did for those books.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those authors added sequels to, like, if you look at Extinction Survival, for example, by Walt Browning,
Mm-hmm.
that series, it's 4 books. It's done extremely well in ebook and audiobook. There's Extinction New Zealand by Adrian Smith, same case there. I also had a ton of short stories from authors, so I created two missions volumes, is what they're called. Missions volume one is like 5 authors, missions volumes two is 5 or 6 authors.
Holy
And what I
crap.
did with those is I republished those. They got into audio and everything like that. But what I'm doing now is I'm taking um individual short stories out of those mission volumes. I paid the authors for an extended amount of time to use those, and I'm plugging them into the Extinction Cycle relaunched books through Athon. So, like book two, book three, book four, those are all going to have um, these side stories from other authors in the back of them as bonus content as an incentive for people to buy the new relaunched books.
That's
So we're
great.
trying to do a lot of different things with this IP. There's been so many authors that have played in this world, and a lot of them I'm still good friends with, and I'm still trying to hope to build and grow the brand. We are gonna release a 12th book. Um, in April. The 2 seasons I was talking about are
Mm-hmm.
being combined by Athon. So season one, those books through Orbit 1 through 7 will stay books 1 through 7, but season two will become part of this main storyline. So instead of being called books 1, 2, 3, and 4, they'll be books 8, 9, 10, 11, and then there'll be a 12th new book added. If that makes sense, it's all one linear
Yeah.
storyline.
So you're really kind of specializing in if people find an IP that they like, they like, I love this. I get this a lot because the most I've written so far is a series of 6 books, and there'll be 3 more, but that's taken, many, many years. The most common thing here is I loved it so much I didn't want the book to end or I didn't want the series to end. Have you, has this been an intentional decision by you to be like, I want these more open-ended series where I can find a way to keep writing them? Or did you get to the end of book 5 and be like, fuck man, people love this stuff. They're buying it, they want more. I'm going to figure out how to write more. Which one do you think you were closer to?
An Extinction Cycle at book 5 actually is where I decided, oh God, I can't stop writing these. Plus Orbit was like, I'm going to pay you to write more, so it's guaranteed money. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll do it. I already had book 6 almost done, so I did book 7, and then they sold so damn well. I was like, okay, I'm going to do a second season, but I'm not going to do it with Orbit because they didn't even. I don't remember if they even really wanted to be involved that much. Like
Okay.
probably not to the point where I wanted where it would make sense financially. I can't really remember, but
So real
I
quick,
put
let
out
me
books.
clarify real quick. You
Mhm.
call it a season, so it's like
Yeah,
you kind of have a TV gestalt, TV series gestalt,
right.
but a season for you is like 2, 3 books, kind of little group, like a beginning, middle, and an end within the larger context of the series.
Kind of. I mean, the only reason I broke the Extinction Cycle into seasons is because I decided to self-publish the sequels after book 7. So when Orbit finished publishing book 7, I was like, and I decided I wanted to do self-publish the next book, I decided, okay, I'm also going to hire a new narrator. So why don't we find a way to differentiate these
Okay.
in a way where I can try to bring new readers into season two that haven't read season one, but also capture season one readers and bring them into season two. And actually, in this case, it was extremely successful. Like, I did not lose that many readers. In audio, I actually gained
Hmm.
readers with RC Bray, and because Audible or ACX got behind this, it was right when Audible Plus came out. They put those books into Audible Plus and
Okay.
paid a very huge amount of money to do that. So we got
Great.
super lucky with that. I
Mm-hmm.
split it obviously with narrator and my co-author. But if you look at season two on Audible, you'll see like books one, two, three, and four all have like 7,000, 5,000 reviews.
It's amazing.
Whereas,
Yeah.
yeah, season one, the individual books have like 3,000, 2,000. The box sets have over 10,000 each. So there's a huge audience in audio as well for this series.
Yep. Yep. That's fantastic. On our end, A and I we're going to finish up the Galactic Football League series, and that'll be book 9. Eventually, we'll get to that. We still got to get into the whole box set thing. A lot of this newer stuff, we're a little bit old. I wouldn't say we're old fashioned. We've just been very busy and haven't got to it yet.
Yeah.
So we got some questions from the audience coming up as soon as we kind of finish the arc
Okay.
of what you're doing with the series. So you've got us to the point where you're redoing the audiobooks, you've done new covers, you've got some new content in these, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that your effort to like, hey, diehard fan base who loves me, if you want to drop your $14.95 or your credit, there's all this other stuff too. Is that part of your
Right.
marketing strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. Like book one, the ebook is only $3.99. It's also in Kindle Unlimited for the first time, which I think is going to bring in a lot of readers that hadn't read it before because they're on a budget, right? So they're using KU to read 20 books a month. They'll hopefully we can bring them into the Extinction Cycle now because it was never in that before. But I did add this new novella, Extinction Killzone, into book one for free. I'm not selling Killzone, like I'm giving it away for free
Mm-hmm.
to people that are hardcore fans that might want to read it and pick up book one again, even though they might own book one already. And then same thing goes for audio. We're going to give away Killzone with the audiobook, the new audiobook of book one. That's not out yet though. So right now,
Okay.
again, it's just ebook and paperback.
In the chat room, Zach Parrish says, a recommendation from Scott is basically a commandment. This is true. You were in the Church of Siglerism, and you absolutely must read Helldivers Book 1. I have not yet read The Extinction Cycle, so I'm pretty
Oh,
pumped for
really?
this. Yeah, I've not
Yeah.
got to that one yet. But yes, I am telling you right now, if you like my work, hands down, you're going to love Nicholas's work as well. So
And that's what I tell my readers too, because and I believe that
it was spooky. It was spooky reading the first Helldivers. First of all, there was the absolute fucking bitter jealousy and the hatred of you to be like, God, it's a fucking good idea, dude. Dude, airships, post-apocalyptic. It was so cool. As a huge Battlestar Galactica fan, I was like, I really wish I had thought of this. But as you read through it, there's all the science, there's the drama, there's the betrayal, and then there's a shit ton of monsters too. So I really think if you guys have not tried Helldivers, you need to check it out. And if you get through Helldivers, Extinction Cycle apparently is there waiting for you. So
it has the same stuff: monster science, betrayals, character. I would say these are the two IPs I'm known for.
yeah.
And that's another reason I'm bringing back the Extinction Cycle because I miss it and I like the characters too. So I'm excited about writing the 12th book.
Brandon Wong in the chat room says, I was so surprised to find references to Helldivers in Mount Fitzroy,
Oh, yeah.
which was book 2 of my Earth Core
Right.
duology. And they're asking for a trilogy in the chat room now. Maybe if I live to be 130, I'll get that knocked out.
That actually is a great idea, Scott. I think Audible would be more than happy to get behind that too.
Yeah?
And then Ray Porter too, right?
Yeah,
He's
Ray.
the
Ray
voice.
crushed it. Yep. Ray crushed
Dude,
it.
hell yeah, that's a great idea. Like if you can clone yourself, it's a great idea, I guess. But or maybe a co-author or something like that.
Well, we tried. I'll tell you, we tried to go off on a small tangent. We tried the co-author thing, of the Galactic Football League series. Matt Wallace, Murr Lafferty. We had them write novellas. The problem with me, and you can talk to this from your perspective, I'm too much of a detail freak, and so like they will write something. I'm like, well, that's not. You don't know where the series is going to go 4 books from now, so I have to correct this. The other thing, and I would love to hear your opinion on this, is At this point, if I want someone to write in the Galactic Football League series, they have to read 6 really big novels, soon to be 70. Like, you have to know this material as far as I'm concerned, to save you time and to save us time, even though that's a huge time commitment, even when you're paying someone. And then
Yeah.
probably need to read some of the novellas too. So I'm asking for hundreds of hours of an author's time to be up to date, on at least up to date enough to write a book in the series, and then it doesn't create an endless editing cycle. Well, you didn't know this, and you didn't know this, you didn't know this. How do you handle that with Extinction Cycle, which is what, 13 books and counting? How do you handle getting
Yeah.
people to write for you?
Well, the only so with the Extinction Cycle, these other authors, they wrote their old spinoffs, and I
Mm-hmm.
knew there was going to be some problems with accuracy, but I didn't put my name on those books. I let those people write those books, and then I published those under my name. So
Wow, I did not know that. So your name,
yeah,
just their names on the book?
yeah, so like when Kindle Worlds was around, that's my name wasn't on any of those books. It's just like Silos or Wool. Wool was a Kindle World. Hugh Howey's name wasn't on any of those books.
Okay.
It was all other authors that wrote in the Wool universe. And then when Kindle Worlds went away, all the books went away. Some Kindle World authors decided, hey, I'm going to republish these books and work with the individual authors to get them back out there. That's what I did. But I decided from the beginning, I'm not putting my name on these. I'll let people write in my universe. I wrote a huge Extinction Bible of all the
Mm,
characters, all the shit I thought people needed to know, but then I let them have at it because I'm the same way as you. If I was involved with each one of those projects, I would have never got anything done on my own.
mm-hmm.
So where my real co-author projects have happened, Extinction Cycle Dark Age, I worked with Anthony Melchiori, who's a best-selling author, one of my best friends. He helped me immensely with the science in the Extinction Cycle. So he was intimately familiar with the book since book from book one on.
Okay.
And so he knew the universe. We worked well together. He writes the same style as I. He has a really good best-selling series called The Tide, which is very similar to the Extinction Cycle. So we were cross-promoting those. Like it worked out well. He also helped me with the second season of Trackers, which is another series I wrote. Um, and I'm sure I was a bit anal about certain things, but like he did a really good job staying true to the universe. And I also like we worked together, sat down and said, this is what your job is, this is what my job is. You have a character, I have a character. My newest co-writing project is with Jay and Cheney, and I wrote the whole book.
Okay.
So we're doing another project and he's writing the whole book. And I'm staying out of it and he's staying out of it for the most part. Like I feel like that's a good way to do it.
Okay.
Um, he's handling certain business things, I'm handling certain business things.
So you
But with
guys are you guys are alternating books in the, is this the old guard? The
Old Guns I
old
wrote,
guns.
yeah,
Okay.
yep, yep. So I don't know, like in your situation, if someone has to come in at book five,
Mm-hmm.
dude, that's an extremely big ask, and
It's
that's
too
really
much.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're starting a new series, then you know, or even like if you do a sequel to Mount Fitzroy, it could be something where it's a brand new character and it's kind of in this world, but it's different enough where the author can have some freedom in what they're writing without you having.
The one for me would be Slay, which we put out 3 seasons of Slay as a podcast, and then we
Okay.
put out book one ourselves in ebook, audiobook, and hardcover paperback. And then Athon said we'd like to put this out, so we pulled all of that down. But Slay, the Galactic Football League is very detailed in what goes where when. And the
Yeah.
Crypt series is even more detailed. The build up to Crypt book 5 is crazy. But Slay's a urban fantasy, and you can easily take that concept, and I could say, hey, so you want to write in Indianapolis, or you want to write in LA, or another
Yeah.
fictitious city.
Yeah.
Like that could be something
Right.
that's, I would not have as much I would not need as much control over it as long as the tone was right. Is that kind of
Right.
how you approach it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think as I've gotten a little older, I've realized too, like I've always been so like intense in my editing, and I just have a hard time letting things go
Yeah.
with my work. But I've gotten a lot better at that, I think, and I've learned like also I've had hits, I've had books that have done really well, I've had books that I thought would do well that didn't, books that I thought wouldn't do as well do really well. So it's kind of like at the end of the day, it doesn't. like every little fact doesn't matter. Like I had a beta reader going over one of my Helldivers books today. This book is The Dawn of the Ronin, which is the samurai one. It takes place the same time period as book one of Helldivers. And the main series actually is like 10-15 year span between book one and book 12.
Hmm.
And I've written these prequels. So there's like so many moving parts and things I have to remember between the prequels that take place 250 years before book one.
Okay.
And then these side stories, like Rhino is another side story about a main
Love Rhino.
character,
Yep.
a Cazador that was captured. And anyways, and then Dawn of the Ronins also it's timeline stuff. Like I have beta readers that are catching things that I didn't catch when
Yeah.
I was writing them, like crazy little things. And so I'm realizing like those things are going to happen. Just think about how hard it would be to be the co-writer
Oh my God.
in a situation like
Totally.
this.
Yeah,
Dude,
totally.
I don't know if you could pay me enough money to come into
Mm-mm,
someone's world and do that.
mm-mm-mm. Um,
So,
and now, how do you track that stuff? Yet another tangential side note. We have a wiki. We use a media wiki site called cyclopedia.scottsigler.com, and then that's public facing. Then we have a secret agent.scottsigler.com, which is you have to get permission. Those are the consultants and the editors all have access to the stuff that hasn't yet published. Are
okay.
you doing all of the stuff in your noggin, or do you have spreadsheets, or do you have a wiki? How do you keep with so
I
many worlds so sprawling? How do you keep track of it for
Yeah,
this?
most of it's in my head, but and then in my manuscripts. But I did so when I started writing season two of Helldivers. So Helldivers is now going to be published by Podium. There's a season two of it. We're doing the same thing to
Mm-hmm.
separate it from season one. There's four books coming out through Podium. I wrote book one last year. I'm working on book two now, and same thing I did with Extinction Cycle. I knew I want to bring in new readers, but I want to pull in the old readers. So I created this like massive recap of what happened in books 1 through 12 and
Okay.
Rhino and the prequels. And it took me almost, I don't want to say as much time to write book one as it did this recap, but I kept re-editing the recap. And honestly, I'm not going to lie, I'm using Claude to help me a little bit too, to remember stuff. So,
Yep.
like, and beta readers, because so there's so many details that I have to scan books through or read. I basically have to read the book over again to figure out what happened sometimes. That's what I was doing each time I wrote a new Helldivers book. Now I put them into Claude and I ask Claude, find this date, tell me if this is wrong. That helps a lot.
Okay.
And that's kind of like the first defense. The second one is I'll then read through it and ask my beta readers to go over it. And there's this one person, this is just still blows my mind. She sends me the craziest questions about my books that I would never consider
Mm-hmm.
about characters or events. So I've started asking her, like, hey, can you read this and tell me, like, am I missing anything here? And she'll give me three things I'm missing.
Nice.
So that's kind of what I have a character Bible, I have a recap, and then I use Claude to help me scan for things, basically.
The thing I'm waiting for, I believe there's a good business opportunity. There's so much baggage with the word AI when you get into the
Yeah.
creative world, for sure. But there are very good uses for it. I'm waiting for
Definitely.
someone to be like, my AI makes a series Bible. My AI makes a character Bible. Feed all of your novels into this and
Yeah.
spit out all this information. Like that would be so fucking helpful to me to be able to keep that and keep updating it. I imagine that'd be helpful for you too.
Well, AI can't do that at this point, but the problem is it might give you a character Bible that's 95% accurate, and then you have to figure out what 5% they screwed it up.
Yes.
So it saves time in some regards, but what I've noticed about AI, as AI has gotten smarter in some ways, it's gotten dumber in other ways.
Hmm.
So it's a tool. And I mean, I don't think this is a whole nother conversation, right? I won't go into all the ethical
We'll get you
dilemmas
back.
and
We'll
all
get
that
you back
shit.
on for a longer
Yeah,
conversation later. Yeah.
but it can definitely be used as a tool to help you with things like finding a character's color, eye color from book two if you wanted
Right.
to.
Right. Okay. So what we're going to do now is, do you first of all, have you completed your story of bringing Extinction Cycle back to market, or have I missed some details of that? Because we got
Yeah.
a bunch of questions. But go ahead.
The only other thing is just the audio and RC Bray has been talking about doing he did season two. He's talked about doing season one for a long time. Those books they're still selling in audio, but not to the point where I think it wouldn't make sense to re-record them. So I asked Blackstone And they have given me the good to go with Bray. So we're waiting for
Nice.
Bray to re-record these, and then we're going to start launching them in audio as well.
Yeah, and he's a massive. There's a thing with narrators, and I've reported for several narrators who've sold a lot of books bring certain algorithm juice into the situation. That's
For sure.
it's not a
Yeah.
dirty word, ladies and gentlemen. If there are people who will buy absolutely every book Ray Porter puts out, regardless of the genre, but because that voice has sold so many books, and because I have sold X amount of books, that gets exposure to people who've never heard of me before. And you've got the same thing going with RC Bray. Like
Yeah.
that's your dog, right?
Yep. I've used Ray Porter for a couple series too, and I love both of them. But Bray is basically near the end of his career. He's semi-retired,
Oh, I
so
didn't know
he's
that.
not
Wow.
doing as much. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, he's kind of talked about it publicly, I think. I'm not sure if he's going to fully retire or what, but um,
I hear hearts breaking all over the action adventure
yeah,
world right now.
I think it's pretty much public knowledge now. I mean, he's pulled back a lot. Podium's pulled him off projects. A lot of the books that he was doing now have new narrators. He's still doing certain IPs, but I think he's really scaled back. I mean, this he did so much for so
He's
long.
a
I think,
star. Yeah, it's huge.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe he just needs to take a long break. Who knows? I don't want to speak for him, but he definitely has that massive fan base. I would say he's got more fans than I do, like for my books when they come
Yeah.
out. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've loved working with Bray. He's a talent, an unrivaled talent in a lot of ways, and
I'm well aware that Ray Porter has a lot more fans than I do, and I'm happy to every time we get in a book, I'm happy to draft off Ray and cash in on his cachet, if you will. All right,
yeah.
we got some questions from the chat room here. First of all, David Lamb asks, "Do you have a continuity editor?"
Oh yes. Um, for my Helldivers book, I have one of, I think, the best editors I could have ever hoped to work with. Um, his name's Michael Carr. He did books 1 through 12. He did the prequels. He did Rhino. And this guy's like a real life Xavier Rodriguez.
Okay.
He's skydived, mountain climbed, just he's so knowledgeable and was the perfect cast for editor from Blackstone. He's also elevated my own writing and taught me quite a bit of things,
Hmm.
which I think is key. Um, as far as, so I have a bunch of different publishers. Each one kind of gives you your own continuity editor. I used for my self-published books, I've gone back and forth from line editors and continuity editors to Tony Melchiori was editing my books for a while. He's my co-author, and he's the author of The Tide and a bunch of really cool series himself. Um, but yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of different people I work with, as I'm sure
Okay.
you do, Scott. Like, yeah,
I've got one particular continuity editor, although
you
you have more universes than I have. You've really got a broader scope, more books in each universe. Right now, I've got one guy who manages all that for us, who's absolutely fantastic. It went from doing it for free to now where we have the ability to pay him for his work, and it helps enormously because I don't really have a good memory for the stuff. Some of the shit I wrote 17, 18 years ago, and I just
yeah,
like
that's crazy. Yeah.
don't recall it at all. But let's get some other questions. This is a good one. We got any possibility of Extinction or Helldivers ending up in the big screen?
Helldivers has been through multiple different companies now. Optioned, well, it was optioned twice by the same person, and now it's with another company. I think they pivoted to TV, which I really like that idea. I think
Yeah.
you can tell more of the story, but this isn't something that I think about every day. I get questions like this all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
Helldivers, I would say, has a much better chance. Extinction Cycle did back in the day. But like I said, all books have shelf lives, and Extinction Cycle kind of ran its course for a while, but now it's back. So who knows?
Yeah.
Um,
But
yeah, if you're
even
watching
with
this,
Helldivers or Helldivers, now there's the realities of the finances of putting out a TV show. And
right?
Helldivers, an enormous amount of that content takes place on a ship, reusable
Yeah,
sets. Battlestar Galactica, once the stuff was built, they could just keep using that, and it was a sunk cost they could capitalize on.
yeah,
Helldivers would be a similar thing. It would be expensive, but once you get rolling, you're rolling. But all the on planet stuff, all the jump stuff, there's a lot that CGI can do, but it's expensive. I'm sure you've talked about this in your pitch meetings and discussions. Like it costs a lot to make either of these series.
Yeah. I mean, from what I was told, Helldivers would cost over $100 million
Yep.
to make it as a big budget film. The TV show would be different. I just haven't gotten into a lot of those details. I've seen a sample. It wasn't a full script, but a like treatment for Helldivers.
Mm-hmm.
There's been movement on it, but it's just way too expensive for a movie, I think, at
Yep.
this point.
Yep. And even a TV show as well is still going to be pretty damn expensive. But here's another
Yeah.
question. Does NS... Wait, no, sorry. That was my... I already asked that one. Here we go. Now, I'm sure you get this one all the time, and I'm sure it changes. But who was your favorite character to write across all of your stories?
All of my stories. I like Xavier probably the best
Mm-hmm.
from Helldivers. He's flawed and funny and I don't know, he's become someone that I don't really have to like think too hard about writing. He feels like a real person to me.
Yep.
I liked Raven a lot from my Tracker series. Um, Trying to think. Beckham was great from Extinction Cycle, but I think X has got to be the answer there.
Yeah, he's a very comfortable character to read. It's very easy to not realize that you're falling in love with this character, and then by book 5, 6, you're like just totally in this dude's corner. He's very solid. You did introduce a dog at some point, of course. That's really
Yeah,
that's the key to making people love you is to give your character a
yep,
pet, which I have not
definitely.
quite done yet. All right, let me see if we got any other questions. Last question, I think, because we've held you for quite some time. It's late where you are. Any planned sequels to the Sons of War series?
No, that series, I forgot about that. So, Tom Abrams, who's a good friend of mine, and he wrote some Extinction Cycle books too. He helped me finish the Sons of War series because Sons of War ended up being 3 books when it needed to be 4 to finish. And so he was able to come in and help me write a 4th book. And the series, I think, has a great ending, and I wouldn't want to touch it. I just got this question earlier tonight, too. Sons of War that was like the series I always wanted to write, but the hardest books I had to write. I think part of that was it was during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and I rewrote book 1 like 3 times.
Okay,
It was crazy how much work I put into that series. But yeah, it was fun. It's like mobsters in the apocalypse, which is something I'd love to read about. Both are my 2 favorite genres.
okay.
I love mob stuff and I love the apocalypse. So I thought, hey, let's marry these together and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then the book 1 came out during the first week of lockdown, and there was airport ads, and literally no one was there to see them. And it
Oh
just
man,
like there was just a lot of bad timing around that
that's
series.
the way it goes.
But
That's the way it goes.
yep.
Who put that out?
Blackstone and Ray Porter was the narrator for
Oh
it.
gosh, that's right. I
Yeah.
forgot because I have listened to book 1 of that. How could I forget a Ray Porter book? Well, Nicholas Sansbury Smith, author, entrepreneur, all around good guy, family man, person who puts dogs in his stories and does a great job at it. Where should people find out more about you just in case the overlap in our fan base is not a complete 2 circles? If it's a Venn diagram, where do people learn more about you?
I would just go to Instagram. I'm author Sansbury there. And then on Facebook, I'm Nicholas Sansbury Smith. Those are the 2 places I kind of post the most. I do have a Patreon if you're a fan and you want exclusive stories like Dawn of the Ronin, or if you want free patches. All my readers there get free patches and exclusive stories first. And it's a good way to kind of get involved with the story. And we do polls all the time on what we're going to read next and what
Great.
character you want to see more of. So yeah, those would be the places.
Fantastic. All right, man. I know it's late where you're at, but
Thanks,
thank you
Scott.
so
It's
much for
great
coming on
seeing
the
you again,
show.
man.
We
Yeah.
love we love you, and every time I talk to you, I get more ideas on how to improve my business, which
Yeah,
I
let's
greatly
talk
appreciate.
offline. We'll go over Kickstarter. I'll have some data for you, hopefully in the next 2 months on how my Helldivers one goes, and I'm thinking about doing some new ones. And yeah, we can brainstorm and talk. So
Sounds good,
appreciate you
man.
having me.
Have a
Yep, take
good
care.
one.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Say hi to the fam for me. Bye. And let's go back to here. Go back to Maine. Let me stop that. There we go. Boom. That was like a fucking, you guys, it was almost an hour interview, and I only got 1 commercial break. So those of you watching at home, it's up to Steve, the iceberg, Ricky Berg, to see if he can snooch in an extra ad thing because, that's how we make money and shit. Zach Parrish says that was awesome. I agree. He's just such a engaging, intelligent, informational person. He's a creator who takes great care to treat his customers very, very well, always is doing things for his readers, for his customers, and really pays attention to what they want, which is why he's got books that have gone to 13, 14, 15, eventually books, because his customers love the work. They love him, loving them, loving the work, and those things just kind of continue on. Hey, any Nicholas Sansbury Smith fans who just tuned in for this, who aren't familiar with me, you can find me at scottsigler.com or just search for Scott Sigler at Amazon. And I would say if you're a huge Nicholas Sansbury Smith, the book of mine you want to start out with is called Earthcore. One word, Earthcore. You guys should check that out. And for the Scott Sigler fans who have not yet experienced Nicholas Sansbury Smith, no doubt, go get Helldivers Book 1. It's phenomenal. I love it, and I hate him that I didn't think of that idea. So you guys are all great. Now, if you are new to this show, we're about to have my business partner / wife come up, and we're going to talk about my experiences at Comic-Con and Imaginarium.com. Just kind of a free-flowing thing, so feel free to stick around. But we do this show every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can join us at youtube.com/Scott Sigler, twitch.tv/Scott Sigler, or facebook.com/Scott Sigler. If you got to go, thanks for tuning in. Glad to have you. And we're going to have Nicholas on again, talk about AI. I think it'll be a great conversation. This being the wife right here. All right, let me get her unmuted. Thanks, buddy. That was super fun, man. I got to quit out of Zoom. This is going to take us a quick second. And meeting for all. I had already a meeting. Meeting for all. Hold on, jeez. I got windows up all over the damn joint. Hold on. I think I got somebody's questions, but if I miss your questions, go to Nicholas Sansbury's page and you guys can figure that out for yourself. All right, let's get chat up real quick. And then let's get us dialed in. By the way, because I ran this one and A did not prepare it, A's more the producer. She had literally to bring up a card that said, "Take an ad break." Take an ad break. She slipped it in under, like, it's like, she was like, going to the maitre d', like, look, I like the corner table. Hey, shake. You know what? It's good to see you a little bit. Boom. And she's like, she got a 50. You get the corner table. That's how that works.
I didn't get a 50, though. I'm just saying. I didn't get anything.
I'll give you 50 later. Let's get you settled in.
Nope. I did it
Okay.
wrong. There we go.
Zach Parrish says, oh, good. A arrived. Scott, I know you're great and all, but this is what we have been waiting for.
Zach, I saw your post today. Good. You have been doing so much work.
A little to the left?
So much work.
You scoot a little to the left? Yep.
I'm scooting a little to the left.
Yeah, Zach, by the way, you guys,
you look
Zach Parrish is in the
fantastic.
chat room, and I don't know what personal work he's doing. What's more important is Zach is making the actual accurate hatchet that Link uses, the Skegox weapon, the Viking weapon, that will be featured on the cover of Hatchet Man, which will be book 1 in the Slay series, which will be put out by Athon. I've gotten the copy edit back from Athon for Slay, and I have not looked at it yet because I just need a couple of days, bros. I need a couple of days before I open this thing up and be like, is it 100 comments or is it 7,000 comments? Because I'm not sure I can handle it if it's 7,000.
Now, listen, I wasn't making a dirty comment. Zach has been working really, really hard for a whole year to be a healthy dad and a healthy husband and a healthy man. And I was just saying that. Also, Zach wonders if that's how you say Skegox. But apparently, yes.
Dude, I got no fucking idea. That's another word. I'm like, I'll pronounce it the way it's written, but I don't know because you know what? I must have looked at it at some point, Sweets, because I did the audiobook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked it up.
You must have. Yeah, you wouldn't have done that.
I don't remember, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tilt this down a little bit. Dude, Nicholas Sansbury Smith is such a pimp guest. Such a guy. He's just on top of all of his shit all the time.
This week, you guys both sounded great, and Nick is so informative, so good. The Helldiver series, the E-Day, these are such fun, good stories. I'm so glad that you guys have a crossover going on.
Yeah, it's just so fun to talk to him. He's just such a good dude, man. Okay,
Agreed,
project
agreed.
templates.
Yeah.
My templates. We're going to do a second file here, hon.
Okay, great.
Have you seen this?
I saw it. I saw it right
It's
now.
so dope,
I saw
man.
it right now.
Right now. It's so dope. So I've got we bought this $125 on sale, this touchscreen monitor. I'll see if I can show you guys.
Oh Lord. Oh, something
And
happened
now
on
that sits right in front of the main monitor, and it's a touchscreen, so I now can use that to control Logic Express, which we do all of our recordings on. And then I've got yet another one that we use to control Apollo Console, which is the program that lets you hear us in such delightfully juicy goodness all about here. So we're going to get this going.
So you guys, this morning, I don't know if any of you have ever had this while he's setting stuff up. I will tell you, this morning I woke up having apparently scratched my cornea overnight. This eye. So I'm not wearing any makeup because you're not allowed to wear makeup because it could infect whatever. But also, if you've never scratched your cornea or you don't know a lot about eyes, which I didn't this morning, the cornea has so many nerve endings, it heals very quickly. So this morning, my eye was tearing, everything else. We were like, oh, we got to go to the urgent care, all the things. And here we are, 9 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in great shape. I mean, I can still feel it, but y'all can't see it, but I'm not wearing all the makeup. So it's interesting. I've never really understood how quickly your eye can heal.
It makes sense evolutionarily. Like, if you don't get these puppies, if these don't heal quickly, you ain't reproducing, son. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
So,
fair.
although neither one of us have reproduced, at least as far as we know.
Well, I have not. I have not.
There could be a trail of children left in her wake. She has no idea.
I mean, I for sure have not done that.
I like celebrating you as the rogue, the cad.
I'm definitely not
you
the
guys
one
wanna
who
hear?
might have children.
This
no.
is exactly what it sounds like. I might have a dozen kids across the coast. I don't know. When I was on my Harley back in the 70s, who knows
Hey, it
what
was an
happened?
Indian. How dare you?
Oh, shit. Dropping the American-made knowledge. I like that. Yes, Zach, from now on, A will be known as
The cad. I think he was talking. Oh.
Everybody else, people who know motorcycle is responding to very much to your Indian comment, which absolutely got you laid. I'm not going to lie to you. That
You're not
shit's good.
supposed to say that out
Oh,
loud.
I'm not. I'm not supposed to say that out loud. It's
We
legal.
are married. We are married.
It's legal,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. We're both of age. There's consent.
Thank you, Ollie. That's
and I
very
put a ring
nice
on
of
it.
you.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Oh, apparently Zach was calling you a cat.
I'm a cad.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true. All right, ladies and
Only
gentlemen.
on Tuesdays, though.
Only on Tuesdays. So we're going to hit record. Now, you ready to just wing this shit, girl?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a whole
yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Mama, Papa got to make some money. So we're going to wing this shit right now.
Money, 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 money.
Okay. So hold on. I got to double check here. Isn't this sick? Like, it takes there's a lot of screens going on, a lot of information going on when we run one of these episodes. So, okay, talk, baby.
I am talking. I would just like to say he would add more screens if he could.
Oh my God.
It's about the number of things he can fit on his desk without having it fall through the floor.
It's up. We've already,
Fall through the floor is his goal.
I have a sit stand desk. We have already exceeded the weight tolerance by 7%. And I keep adding stuff to the fucking
And every
desk.
time I'm like, let me look up how much weight the floor on the second floor can hold.
Shit. She was built in the 80s, bro. Back before
It was built in
Union,
1976, bro.
76, bro. Everything.
It's full of asbestos.
It's
and
American made
asbestos-
from the 70s.
Asbestos pounds per square inch is huge. Huge.
It's yes.
Vaughn Lowe, thank you. The eye
Hey,
has
Vaughn.
more nerve endings per inch than any other part of the body. I also hope
Vaughn's
you
a
had a great,
motherfucker who would know.
and I hope you had a great birthday this week.
Happy
this past week.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Vaughn
dear
knows a lot about eye nerve endings.
Vaughn.
Happy birthday to you. And of course, David Lamb, classy as ever, asks, Vaughn, do you know about other body parts?
I'm sure he does.
Which is obviously, that's a Sigler fan right there.
Mhm.
Like, you want to ask that question. It's a leading question. All right, here we go. Ready?
I am ready.
I'm going to have to totally ad-lib this outrageous, bombastic opening. You ready?
Do you need the intro script part?
Did you
about
write
us?
one?
No. I mean, I wrote the details, but not the welcome to Scott Sigler Slices. Not that part.
No, I get. Would you like the script up though? By the way,
No, I'm good.
Okay, because I'm just responding to you in this.
Yeah.
Oh shit! There it is, right there. But we don't have. There's nothing in here. All right, we're gonna wing it. Here we go. Everybody's standing far too close together. People don't know how to turn around before they stop, so you bump into their butts. There's con crud. There is disease on every door handle, every countertop, every book that's on display for you to purchase. And yet, we wade into the fray regardless. We brave few, we authors, because we have been invited to be guests at a con, also known as a sci-fi convention. We go in, we get the sniffles, and we do the goddamn job.
We also wear deodorant.
We do. We wear deodorant. We'll be right back with information on how I survived Imaginarium Con in Kentucky and Comic-Con right after this. Shit, do we have commercial breaks in the beginning? No, we have the intro.
Right.
We don't have an intro anymore.
Well, you
Steve,
just
scratch that whole fucking thing. Let's go back. You ready? Ready? Welcome to Scott Sigler Slices. I am Scott Sigler, a science fiction, horror, and sports fiction author, otherwise known as the future Dark Overlord.
And I am A.B. Sigler, audiobook narrator, almost done with the audiobook for Alive, and publisher at Empty Set Entertainment, where we make cool things for cool people just like you. Today, we are doing a little recap of Scott's July, where he went to the Imaginarium Convention in Louisville, Kentucky, and came home on a Monday, and on a Wednesday went right to San Diego Comic-Con 2026. It has been an entirely exhausting July.
Yeah.
But a whole bunch of fun.
It has been very, very fun. So I guess we'll start with Imaginarium. So this is a con I had not heard of until I got invited to be a guest of honor.
A guest of honor, yeah.
And it was super fun. The people were awesome. We'll try and name some names in a minute, but it's the 13th year of this con. And this con was created by people who absolutely love the world of genre and love independent creators. They loved the authors, the poets. They really love the people who make movies. And we're going to talk about that. The award ceremony was really something else. We're going to talk about that. But it was great. It's a very close-knit community. It's what I call an old school sci-fi con.
Yeah,
right?
it was in one hotel, I understand.
One hotel, yep.
I did not go, which is good because the day he left, I got a migraine that lasted for 3 days. I would have died to have them fly me out for me to spend the entire week,
It would have been rough.
the whole weekend, in a hotel room with a migraine. So I'm glad that didn't happen. But I understand that they flew you out. You did
Yep.
all sorts of things. You did panels. You did karaoke.
I did
you went to an
some
award
karaoke.
show.
It was great. The award show, where should we start discussing this con? First of all, go ahead.
So I will say it's called the Imaginarium Convention. It's in Louisville, Kentucky. It'll be in Louisville next year at the same hotel. It's at I think a Holiday Inn, but it's a one hotel con. So if you are a sci-fi fan that has ever been, or a comic book fan or whatever, that has ever been to what's called a genre con, all we're talking about is the original series Star Trek. All we're talking about is Eureka. That's it. That's the whole con. That's almost always in one or two ballrooms in one hotel. This one, I think, was it's big enough that it was in 5 or 6 ballrooms in one hotel, because it is a genre con that I think is very individualistic about the people who run it. And so whatever their interests are, they invite writers, as Scott said, writers, poets, screenwriters, short and long form AV fiction, movies, web series, whatever, all that sort of stuff to the con, thinking that creative people should meet creative people.
Yeah.
And they have done a very lovely job of it. It is always a small con in a one hotel in Louisville, but the interesting thing about this is if you're able to go to a more specialized con, Scott's done a handful of these. He did a handful in Australia and New Zealand. He did Supernova and SwanCon. We did one in Berlin at the Berlin, after the Berlin Film Festival. And we've gone to Cleveland Comic-Con, and you've done Imaginarium as a sort of smaller, more focused cons. And it sounded like you had a great time.
Oh, I had an absolute blast. The hospitality. First of all, those of you who don't know this is very important for you. If you go there, it's not Louisville. It's not Louisville. It's what is it, baby?
Louisville.
Louisville. And no one got mad, but people were getting a little bit irritated.
They didn't. Did they not get mad? But they corrected.
The sub breath, subtonal, sub correction is like. So we're here at Louisville.
I'm so glad to be here in Louisville. Yeah, we're so glad to have you in Louisville. Zach Parrish in the chat room on Twitch spells it Loovul. Louisville. And that's true.
So we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but first of all, I'm not going to lie to you. If you're in driving distance of Louisville, Kentucky, next year in 2027, this con is well run. The people are fantastic. It is a smaller con at a hotel in which, oddly, the restaurant was not open and the bar was not open at 10 o'clock at night, which is a whole separate discussion.
How dare.
Lovely people, lovely content, a huge amount of networking, and so much positivity towards creators that I don't think I've experienced at another con since like Baycon or Balticon.
Oh yeah, Baycon's another one. And you did like what was it called? My brother's in the chat room on Facebook. I love you, Jude. You did one also, like, I think it was called ScreamCon or something in Sacramento. It was like specifically a horror con.
Yep.
Right around the time that we met. So there are a handful of much smaller cons that you still get to go and geek out and do the thing with.
It's great.
I think Balticon is a much bigger con than Imaginarium.
Yeah, I think
true?
Balticon's a little bit bigger. But at Balticon, Imaginarium, all these smaller cons, Robert Downey Jr. is not going to show up and surprise everybody. That's a big old Comic-Con
Definitely
thing.
not.
But
there's no Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider.
The Imaginarium, like I'm going to guess there were close to 60 to 70 tables of independent authors, artists, creators, filmmakers who were there working their ass off for 4 straight days, pimping their wares, and it was great. And I think everybody sold a bunch of books, had a great time. And the film festival part of it, which if we go again, we'll make sure to watch all of the films beforehand. But I think that's also a huge part of Imaginarium, which I don't see as much in other smaller cons. They're really leaning into the film festival part of it. It was quite fantastic.
Yeah, I do know that Dragon Con, where we are going to Dragon Con this year, we have just recently decided we are going to Dragon Con this year. Scott is a guest. Dragon Con does have an independent film festival segment to it, but Dragon Con is so big, it's at, I think, 7 hotels now in downtown Atlanta, that you can go for whatever your fandom is. Like Scott does some writer track, some horror track, some science track, some skeptics track, and digital media track is a big one. But if you're, say, into puppets, it's possible that you never interact with anybody going to any of those other tracks. At Imaginarium, he was there as a writer. Doesn't matter. He ran into everyone doing all of, if they're there as a filmmaker, if they're there as a poet, if they're there as a whatever, it's all in the same
bunch
hotel.
Of happy people. Oddly, we're going to talk about Dragon Con in a moment. Okay, so now I have some information on that one. But I think summing up, Imaginarium, number one, I didn't get sick, which is, and I know full well, if we go to a con, one or both of us are probably going to get sick. We already know that at Dragon Con, we're going to catch con crud. There's no way around it. Dragon Con is 70,000 people flooding into downtown Atlanta. It's a bonkers.
Last year, he got sick at Dragon Con. I did not. But I also had a bum knee and hardly left the room at all or left the hotel at all on Saturday and Sunday. So I didn't get sick because I didn't get to enjoy the con. But yeah, of course. And Zach Parrish in the Twitch chat room says, if you didn't get sick, did you really attend a con? And the answer should be yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we should get to go to a con and not. So at Dragon Con, I also, as I'm walking through the event, I mask now since 2020. Since they reopened the con, I mask because that is the unwashed masses, and I am an unwashed mass. I'm not saying anything that is not me. It's just, I don't know what the cooties they've been exposed to. They don't know the cooties I've been exposed to.
That needs to be your next tattoo. I am an unwashed mass. There's no way we're not getting sick at Dragon Con. We know it. We know that, like, we're going to get back from Dragon. Usually we'll be like, we'll move on to Dragon Con in a minute. I think we're finished with the Imaginarium.
Yeah, I think so.
But last thing I'll say, well-run con, well-loved con. The people who run the con love the con and love the attendees. It was wonderful. We hope to go again in the future. If you are drivable to Louisville, you should fucking go to that con and support them. It's a blast.
And I am heartbroken that I didn't get to go at the last minute. We were both planning to go. They had invited Scott. They were paying for both of us to go. I ended up being unable to go because of my family situation. And it was beautiful though, because Holly, who is like sort of the A. Sigler of the Imaginarium, she's the right-hand man.
Yeah.
She was absolutely lovely. She has had a very challenging year and still was so wonderful and lovely and invested in Scott's happiness and everything else. I'm so sorry that I didn't get to hug her because she seems absolutely the bomb.
I will close our Imaginarium discussion with this. If you should go to Imaginarium because you've heard the sound of my voice and A's voice saying, go check this con out, go have a good time, and you get to meet Holly, one of the people who runs that con, you need to come up to him and get in and be like, Scott Sigler sent me. And he said, you're a goddamn gangster. I'm not going to get into the shit she went through in the month prior to the con, but the shit she went through. Story to tell. The shit she went through is shit A and I'd be like, nah, I'm not going. I'm going to nap for a while. I'm going to play some video games and be upset and sad and deal with shit. Fucking Holly was a gangster and was there for every fucking minute of the shit. It was very impressive. Very impressive.
Holly, thank you so much for taking such good care of Scott. I am so sorry that I did not get to meet you. Also, to Holly and Stephen both, who have done so much work for Imaginarium and continue to do so. You guys run a terrific con from everything I've heard. I hope to see it soon. And if you guys who are listening to my voice care to go, if you're close to Louisville, enjoy it.
Yep. Now we're going to talk about San Diego Comic-Con, the granddaddy of them all, the longest
Big Papa.
tooth, the Big Papa. It's insane, and I will say that Dragon Con absolutely gives San Diego Comic-Con a run for its money because Dragon Con is nuts.
100%.
But Comic-Con is where things in our industry happen. That's where Marvel's showing up and all the other industries are showing up. And that's tapered off a little bit since COVID, but it's largely come back. And there was massive news about the Marvel Universe, Robert Downey Jr., Ryan Gosling. It was just, it's nonstop, the amount of cool shit that goes on. And it's Hall H, where people will be in line for 24 hours to see a panel.
And people get tickets and go to San Diego Comic-Con to sit outside most of the day.
Yep.
Most of the weekend. Literally in the heat. I know it's San Diego. I get you guys, with the heat wave right now. But it's still hot sitting in the sun in San Diego. And they come equipped with chairs, umbrellas, coolers, lunch. Because all they want to do, they show up on a Thursday because they want to get into Hall H at 6 p.m. on Friday or 2 p.m. on Saturday.
It's bonkers.
And just stay there and like trade people in and out for their place in line. It's insane.
So those of you listening at home after the fact, we do this live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can watch at twitch.tv/Scott Sigler, youtube.com/Scott Sigler, or facebook.com/Scott Sigler. However, one of our live attendees, Michael Moore, has pointed out there might be some weird shit going on with their cameras. We're looking at our camera 2 right now, and he said we switch places. We go to camera 1. Let's take a look. I'm on the right. I'm like, no, you're crazy, Michael. What are you talking about? I thought I was getting this giant reveal. We did not switch places, son. What are you talking about? Okay, ready to get into. Michael Moore says, what is Hall H? Hall H at Comic-Con is.
Hang on. Hall H, or Comic-Con is at the San Diego Convention Center. Everything that happens officially at Comic-Con, that is Comic-Con branded, happens at the San Diego Convention Center. And the largest space in the San Diego Convention Center is Hall H. It seats, I think, about 7,000 people, but I might be wrong.
That sounds. Oops. So
it seems like
that
that's
sounds like
too
a
many.
lot, bro.
It
seems like
might
a
be.
whole
Yeah,
lot.
it might be. Yeah. Yeah.
It seats a lot of people, and that is. Hall H has become famous largely because of the MCU, because of Marvel. Because
No.
No? Was it bigger before that?
Yeah, 2004. 2004.
What happened in Hall H 2004?
Laura Croft. Tomb
Oh,
Raider,
yes.
walked out during a Tomb Raider panel.
Yep.
And she was actually Angelina Jolie
Angelina.
in her Laura Croft outfit. And she just casually walked out on the
she's
stage.
such a stud, dude. Such a stud.
That moment, and I think it's 2004. I might be wrong, but I think it's 2004. That moment changed San Diego Comic-Con from a Comic-Con, which it's still called, to a pop culture con, which is what their 501c3 actually calls them. That moment literally changed the face of that con and every other con. From, hey, you geeks who like comic books, here you can buy them, you can buy bags, you can buy boards, you can buy all the things, you can do all of that. That was what San Diego Comic-Con was, with little breakouts for everything else, for writers, for poets, for whatever, for some movies. But we are also so close to LA that...
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
That the Tomb Raider people were like, I mean, can we just have her walk out on the stage? And it literally changed the world.
And that changed everything. She's right. That was the pivotal moment. Malachi says, Angelina Jolie did Laura Croft. Listen, I don't know if you're 12, but goddamn, go back and watch those movies. I'm just saying, you don't know she did those movies? She's still, to this day, the biggest international star in the world because if her face is on a streaming, a VHS, a DVD, it does extraordinarily well all over the world.
Also, Hall H seats 6,500 people.
Oh! She's right. I mean, it's not 7,000.
It isn't 7,000.
If it's 6,501, it'll round up. Is it 6,501?
No. Oh, well, he wins.
I think we're both right.
David Lamb in the YouTube chat room says, did you meet any A-list celebrities at these conventions? Good Lord,
oh my God.
Has he?
Tons.
Yes.
Tons. Malachi's turned... Malachi turned 38 10 days ago. That's not an excuse. You should, dude, as a genre, go back and watch the Tomb Raider movies. They're silly. They're a blast. And my goodness, is the main character... Is she striking? Oof, my goodness.
So Recluse Mage in the Twitch chat room says, I can't imagine what it's like being the fire marshal on an event like that. And lucky for you, I was an event planner in San Diego where Comic-Con happens for over a decade.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what it's like because I have walked through the convention center before Comic-Con with the fire marshal of San Diego. But first, we have to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Outstanding. Good job. Great job.
You ready?
Yep. Welcome back to Scott Sigler Slices. I am Scott Sigler, sci-fi, horror, sports fiction author, known as Future Dark Overlord. My partner is A. Sigler, a real girl herself, audiobook narrator, publisher at Entertainment, and before I snatched her away from her business in managing events in San Diego, she was a cog in the wheel. I wouldn't call her a bigwig, but definitely a cog in the wheel at Comic-Con. And you were saying that you have direct experience with the fire marshal with 40 to 60,000 people showing up out of fucking nowhere in downtown San Diego. Please.
Well, yes, but I also specifically had the opportunity once to walk through the San Diego Convention Center prior to San Diego Comic-Con opening with the fire marshal and their team. And here's what's interesting about this particular thing that Recluse Mage said. The fire marshal for any event space, anywhere in the country anyway, I don't know about the world, but I assume the world, but anywhere in the United States, the fire marshal is the one person, the one human being who says, this event, this room, this wedding, this whatever, I believe can safely have X number of people at it.
Mm-hmm.
For San Diego Comic-Con, they say about 135 to 145,000 people show up to the convention center, not to all of San Diego, because people come to San Diego Comic-Con never having a badge, never getting in the convention center, because all the movie houses, there's so much activation in downtown San Diego, and for us in San Diego, the convention center is here, and downtown is right behind it. Convention center is on the water, and downtown is right behind it. So a lot of Paramount, everybody comes and does stuff in town and or also does things in the convention center. But I got once, a million years ago, got to walk through the convention center with the fire marshal's team. And what's so interesting about this, and I'm just going to spend 1 second talking about it because Recluse Mage brought it up.
Yeah.
They really have to decide in the moment, what are the mitigating factors? And this year is a super El Nino year.
Oh, Jesus.
And the convention center is directly on the water. So as it's directly on the water, there's a lot of marine layer that comes in, marine layer comes in and it's wet and it's sort of warm-ish. And then it hits the land, which doesn't retain heat quite as well.
Okay.
And so we get fog and stuff like that. And they have to do all of that. They have to decide how humid it is, how many people are going to be there. Do all the ACs work? Did they test every fire door that they tested? Did it work the way they worked? And then they have to do this. What are the routes out for 145,000 people if something goes wrong? If the AC dies, not even a fire, just if the AC dies, this is going to be a problem because 145,000 people will heat that building up.
Oh my God, it's like the Matrix.
Yeah, it's so the Matrix.
Oh my God,
that's why
I didn't know that.
That's why I'm taking a second to talk about it, because I don't know why you know this, Recluse Mage, but
Hey,
I
Noah.
know this because of this craziness. Like, I never thought, that's the thing I learned doing that walkthrough. How many egresses are there?
Egresses.
It's
a fancy word.
If all of the environmental control dies.
Right.
Or if the toilets stop working. Or if there is a tsunami. What?
Yeah.
What?
Fire marshal got to know that shit.
A tsunami? But of course, we're San Diego, so there could be a tsunami.
We're on the coast, bitches. There are water-related disasters lurking at every possible moment.
Yeah, so my walkthrough was really interesting because I was a little bitty event planner at the time. I was a civic event planner. My business partner Allison and I, not this one, ran the biggest holiday market in San Diego for a decade.
Allison's
It's called December Nights.
Yep.
And I got to do that just to get to know the team. And I was amazed. I didn't think anybody thought about, what if the entire AC goes off? What if there's a fire and everyone has to leave? Like, I never thought about any of that. So it's a really interesting thing. And you are correct. Fire marshals are the absolute go, no go for sure.
Yep.
For any event in San Diego, it's over 25 people.
Okay. So now, at this point, we have a question from Chris Southwick. And I don't know whether he's fucking with us or not, but we're going to go forward. So, dumb question. What exactly is a Comic-Con? Chris? A Comic-Con is when 50 to 70,000 adults who like each other a whole lot gather in one place, much like a nest of garter snakes intertwining with each other, and there is some mucal effect going on. Actually, okay, I'm getting a little bit carried away. It is a nerd love festival. It is one of the biggest cons, if not the biggest con. Con is science fiction convention, shortened to con. So it's a place where people who love pop culture, comic books, the MCU, movies, TV, everything you think of that is, there's no nonfiction involved at a Comic-Con, for example.
Well, there's science.
There's science, but it is largely, it's a celebration of pop culture and the pop culture arts. The people who make it, the people who produce it, the people who are in it. And it's absolute, it's fucking absolute joy, but it's very sweaty joy. And you're probably going to get sick and spend more money than you wish you had spent. It's kind of like that.
I mean, San Diego Comic-Con is without question the world's biggest Comic-Con. There are probably other business conventions, often called conferences, to differentiate them from conventions.
Yep.
Because conferences indicate education that could be used as a continuing education credit. If you are a nurse and you go to a nursing con, you keep up your education. There's none of that happening at San Diego. Or there might be, but I don't know what for which industry. I don't think you can go get continuing education at a convention. But you do fill up your heart and your soul and your nerddom and all that stuff.
It's joy. It's fucking joy is what it is. So these things that you watch and you get, the things you watch you go crazy for, and the things you watch you're like, God damn it. I gave my entire fucking soul to that show. And then in season 3, they ripped out my fucking heart. Who are the dum-dums who wrote season 3 where it's barely an inconvenience, super easy? It's that level of passion for a fictitious creation that makes you angry that they made different choices. That's what Comic-Con is. Those are the people who go to Comic-Con.
Yeah. So Noah, absolutely, Comic-Con is the largest. It's really hard to say if Comic-Con is the OG Comic-Con, if San Diego Comic-Con is the OG, because,
it's close.
Well, here's the thing. It is it's the oldest, biggest convention. But it also started in one hotel in downtown San Diego a billion years ago, right? So there are a million cons all over the world like that. And it is very, very possible that they weren't the first people to ever say, hey, let's get together in a ballroom in a hotel and talk. But for the purposes of large cons, it is without question the oldest and the biggest.
It's the granddaddy.
And the granddaddy. However,
yes.
I don't want to waste too much time kind of generally talking Comic-Con. I want to talk about how your experience went this year.
So, oh my God. So we've got, if you're listening to this after the fact, the chat room is full of pitch meeting references and pitch meeting quotes right now.
Yes, sir, I do.
Yes, sir, I do. So you have a movie for me. And shit, what were we talking about? I forgot.
We were talking about your experience at Comic-Con.
So A and I we've done our duty in the Comic-Con trenches. I've had Comic-Cons where I've had 3 panels a day for 4 days and was walking back and forth and just, it was brutal. It was grueling. And at this point, A and I are trying to sort of dial back the amount of hours we put in each week for our craft and for our business. So we are a small business. It's basically a 2-person business with many lovely, talented, hardworking contractors, but it's a mom and pop shop. So we have been gradually dialing back and trying to find what A would call work-life balance. Which the first time I heard this, like, hey, work-life balance, why don't you go fucking take your sandals off, you fucking hippie, and walk in the grass for a fucking while? Some of us fucking work for a living, right?
Actually, one of the first times we discussed this, he said, what do you want me to do? What am I going to do? Go look at a tree?
Yeah. What am I going to do? I'm going to go to the beach for an hour and a half and watch water?
Turns out,
dude.
You love taking the dogs to the beach.
Yes. So
seeing movies.
This year at Comic-Con, I was lucky enough. Last year at Comic-Con, I was
Love you too, Zach.
I was a guest of honor, and it was great. and they put us up in the downtown hotel. We had a wonderful time. This year, it was largely, I only worked on Thursday and Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
had one panel each day and one autograph session each day. And I am not so far removed from the dirty butt boy I was in Sheboygan, Michigan, to not be extremely grateful for every second that Comic-Con wants to spend on me, that I get to spend hanging out with amazing creators and amazing fans, and people are just fucking excited about shit, happy to be alive and celebrating all this wonderful things that can only come from certain minds or would have not existed without particular people. It's great. So we did one panel each day, we did one signing each day, and then A and I we scheduled 4 hours for a walk of the show floor. We made it about 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's very crowded.
I mean, but also, Scott got me a present.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. We'll talk about that at another time.
But I will just say,
it's safe. It's safe for the kids, but we'll talk about it another time. Go ahead.
okay, that's fine. So once we did that, I was like, okay, we can't spend any more money on the con floor. We have to leave. We must leave. So
A
we
got
did.
flustered.
I got flustered. Yeah.
Because her man was like, oh, no, we're fucking buying that shit.
Yeah.
We're buying that shit right fucking now. So it's great. So there's a huge show floor with tons of vendors. Some of their original creators, like the dress that A bought was an original creation.
That Scott bought for me.
There's a lot of people who sell merchandise related to shows, so Funkos and costumes and paintings and prints and props and books and all kinds of shit, and a lot of comic books. That's still a huge part of it. But that's basically what the show floor is. You walk through and you're watching a lot of small businesses that travel, and small creators too, that travel from all over the world to come and set up a tent and sell their wares.
We met an author who I like. I enjoy her work. She is a Southern California native. And when we first got to the exhibit floor, I was like, I really want to find this booth. I really want to buy this book. I really want to meet her. And it was interesting because she is a Southern California writer, and we got there and I was talking to her and really excited about it. And obviously this is Scott Sigler and we're wearing badges. So it's definitely Scott Sigler.
Yep.
And she's trying hard to listen to me. I really loved this book. I really love Swipe Right. I really love this. Oh, is this a Christmas book? Whatever. And she can't help.
And you narrated one of her fucking stories.
Well, she didn't know that because that hasn't come out yet,
okay,
right? So
okay.
there is a charity anthology for the wildfires that happened in California last January, called Dread Coast. And she donated a story, and then we donated our time for the audiobook. The audiobook is not out yet because it's a charity project where everybody's volunteering their time. So they're still in the editing process. It should be out soon. We'll let you know when it is. But I narrated one of her stories for that book. She doesn't know that because the audiobook isn't out yet. So how could she know? And so I show up and I'm like, I like it. And I would love, oh, is that a Christmas book? I love Christmas books. After Thanksgiving, I only listen to Christmas books. And she's like, can you put me back on the main thing?
Yeah.
So she's trying really hard to pay attention to me vomiting word vomit at her. But Scott Sigler is standing right next to me, and she is sort of doing this. She's like trying to look at me, but she's like,
I didn't notice that at all, to be honest with you.
yeah, because this is he is a person she is in the industry with and wants to and it was so sweet because I was freaking out. Neither one of them were freaking out, but definitely they are the authors there and whatever. So it was really fun and interesting. I actually, just before this cast, I sent her an email saying, sorry for all the word vomit. I did say I wanted to get in touch with you or whatever. So I'll let you know how that goes. Hopefully I get to narrate a Christmas story.
Yeah. A's finishing up narration right now of Alive, book 1 of the Generations trilogy. She will eventually do book 2. And she's already done book 3. So we're going to get that all fixed up, which is interesting. If you listen to this after the fact, we just interviewed Nicholas Sansbury Smith on the show in the episode prior to this one, who is an entrepreneur who kind of regularly buys back the rights to his own work and will hire a brand new audiobook narrator to reread the whole story, because audiobook narrators at a certain time have a certain cachet, and it just makes it different. And the narrators bring in their own audience. And A is the narrator for this woman's story in Dread Coast. And A right now is being a solid entrepreneur and be like, hey, you got any one of them stories you want narrated? Because listen, I've been up and down the West Coast. I don't know how many kids I have out there, but I can do a bunch of narration.
My one problem is that I have a handful of titles, not a ton of titles yet. And I am alone. I will soon have A Light and Alive. But
Yep.
the other books that I narrated are quite adult only. They're quite naughty.
A lot of foul
There's
language.
a lot. They are Necrotech.
Yep.
And, I can't even remember the
Casey
second.
Alexander.
Casey Alexander's Necrotech.
She's
And
awesome.
I
Dude,
narrated
fucking
2 of
rocks.
her books, and they are post-apocalyptic cyberpunk.
Yep.
If you are interested at all, my narrator name is my former name. It is A.B. Kovacs. If you go to ABKOVC.
You got to be shitting me.
Yeah. Okay.
Holy crap.
It's abkovacs.com. You'll be able to listen to that, some of the commercials I've done in the past, things like that. And you'll be able to listen to a little necrotech so that you get a little bit of a feeling of how naughty it is. And yes, they are on Audible, if you care. Nanoshock and Necrotech, thank you so much, Sean.
I'm sorry, dude. Listen, I try to be as professional as I can, but boys, girls, look at that fucking narrator right there. Good God. Up in the screen, if you're watching on the fact, we are at abkovacs.com. And this is listen.
Oh, that's me in Paris at the Jetem Wall. I love it so much.
I am a trained observer of the human condition. I am a factual officiant. I only report the truth. And
we can't hear anything, can we?
the girl on this site is, oh my goodness. We probably get away a little bit. We're gonna
Not
bust out.
Necrotech. Go to Harley Davidson.
Oh,
That's
the
one. So Harley Davidson is when I was in college. So if you guys can hear it.
Let's try this out.
HD motor clothes, $50 trade-in, 60-second stereo radio.
An abandoned truck stop on a cold, rainy night. Long tail fins in chrome glistening through the fog. Wet kisses in the dark. Discover an attitude hard to put into words the minute you slide into Harley-Davidson motorclubs. Classic American basics in contemporary European styling. New Harley-Davidson leather jacket designs, so radically different, they're sanctuary from the status quo. In fact, now through October 31st, we're offering a $50 trade-in on your old Harley jacket. Just bring it to the Motor Clothes Boutique at Bannister Mall and receive $50 towards the purchase of a new one.
So turned
But
on.
hey, don't stop there. Take to the streets in classic jeans by Pepe and rugged aviator jackets by Averett. Or wait and put everything in layaway for 90 days.
Put everything in layaway.
But just see how long you can
Oh my
hold out.
gosh.
Harley-Davidson Motor Clothes, Paris, Milan, Sydney, and exclusively at Bannister Mall.
Fashion for the new frontier.
So fucking
Oh my
awesome.
God.
Listen, I know we have there are some underage listeners right now in the chat room commenting.
Which is why I said no nanoshock.
That's nanoshock. Listen, I married that girl that's saying that stuff right there. And I'm like, you know what? I already have a Harley Davidson jacket. I now need to go buy another one. This is how many years ago?
It was 1992.
Yeah, I'm not good with math.
I
How many
mean,
years ago was that? You're a
fuck if
girl.
I
You
know.
can do math. She got to get a calculator because we're both a little heated. All that. Bumblebean, listen.
35 years ago, you guys.
35
years ago.
Years ago.
My favorite
Oh
is
my God.
I would that is actually how I paid for college. I did radio commercials.
Okay.
And I think that was maybe the 5th or 6th commercial that I
So
booked.
Good, dude. Gosh.
And then Harley Davidson, they had licensed the name for clothing. And then the clothing was well made and people loved it, that then they bought it and wanted it in all their stores. And so I would go in and do like, Paris, Milan, London, or at Bannister Mall, Paris, Milan,
Bannister Mall.
London, at Westgate Mall. I would do it for days. I would do it for like a week and say the same thing, record the same commercial and then do the little tags, which is a thing that doesn't exist anymore. Uh-oh. 6, 7.
Yep.
Doesn't exist anymore. You don't have to do that anymore. But I did it. I'm super grateful. It got me into AFTRA, which was important at the time, and absolutely paid for my college. I will ever be grateful, and it makes me more confident to do audiobook recording now. So I'm almost done. Tomorrow I'll finish Alive. I'll go right into A Light. In case anybody asks, if you have purchased those books on Audible, when we re-upload the audio, if you want my audio, you just have to re-download it. You have to delete it and re-download it. That will mean you will lose the other one if you do it that way.
It's all right. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
To me, as someone who is an audiophile, at least for production, A's voice is just symphonic. Absolutely. It covers the complete full range of frequencies. It's wonderful. And listen to that commercial. Spins a boy
Such a
up.
tiny
It
girl.
spins a boy up. I'm not going to lie.
Vaughn, I'm not sure if you're asking me or Scott. I don't hate the sound of my own
How
voice.
could she? Jesus.
Well, but I will say it sounds different to me than it does to Scott. When I hear it, it sounds, when he's like, oh my God, listen to that butter or whatever. I'm like, So it does sound different, but I don't hate it. But I do believe that's because I've done enough audio recording in my life that I'm used to it.
And some people in the chat room are saying I sound a little tinny, and now I can hear it. Two things. Number one, all the sound control devices are under the desk, backed up a bit, which means if I lean back and think about writing, I may have accidentally turned a dial with my big Chromag toe.
Yeah.
So now my mids may be cranked. We'll fix that after the show. What were we talking about before? I had two things.
We're almost done, I think. We were talking about the sound of one's own voice in their own head.
The sound of one's own voice in one's head is when you start recording, whether that be music or podcasting or audiobooks or whatever. It sounds weird.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, is that what I sound like? And there is not one person in the history of our species who's heard their own voice and said, oh my God, I sound fucking smoking. God, do I sound this good in real life? Everyone's like, oh my God, I sound horrible. I will never speak on a microphone again. Oh my God. Oh my God, I sound ridiculous. They're going to make fun of me. Oh my God. Everybody does this. And then as you add up the hours and continue, eventually you get to the point where you're like, it becomes not white noise, but it becomes very normal. So
yeah,
now
it just becomes part of the job, I think.
Part of the job. I know what my voice sounds like when I talk. It's not the same as sounds in the microphone, but now eventually you understand those are the same thing, and A is well past that point.
We have a couple of great suggestions in the chat room. One from Recluse Mage, we need an episode on the narrator job and such. And then from Michael Moore, how do you do that when you try to do impressions? I think we'll do an episode sometime soon on narration and how one does that. Especially because we have a goodly amount of folks who are writers who could record their own books and want to know more information about that. But I will also add that I think everybody hears their own voice because, you're hearing, your ears are hearing it, but also your soft palate is hearing it. You're making vibrations and stuff. So your internal voice always sounds different than your recorded voice. The reality is the more you do it, the more you'll get used to it. And even so, I will tell you that I paid for a goodly amount of my college tuition by doing commercials. And then 30 years later, it took me, 3 years to be confident enough to record Alive on my own?
Oh, and trust
again
me,
and again and again. And we'll talk more about that.
We'll talk about it. Short story, long story short, it took a lot of work on my part and on the part of Iceberg to get A back on the mic, to be like, I know you haven't done this in a while, but you have a gift. You have a glorious genetic gift in this region from bottom of the eyes to the sternum. There are certain, like an NBA star, like a LeBron James, like a Tom Brady, there are certain gifts you are born with that you have no control over, which is your genetics. And then you apply work ethic and training on top of your genetics, right? And A has a certain symphonic kit from the bottom of the eyes to the top of the collarbones that not everybody has. I often talk about this, like there is no way I would have been a star in the NBA. That's just, I'm 5'8",
Right.
and I'm slow and can't really jump all that high, and I'm not that good at shooting from long distance. This was not going to happen. But there are people who are blessed with hand-eye coordination and strength, speed, size, jumping ability who have a much better chance. A's got a certain toolkit that she's born with that she has developed. And you can hear it. You can hear it in every audiobook that she does.
But I will also say that there is a moment, where you have to, I'm working by myself. So we'll talk about narrating and we'll talk about it. We both came up the same, we came up opposite, but he started narrating all on his own, learned everything by himself, still iteratively learns audio as he goes. If there's a problem, he fixes it and figures it out. For me, I was going to audition for a play, walked into the wrong audition because the door said audition, and got hired for what paid for a goodly amount of my college education, right? I fell into radio commercials, and I'm ever grateful for it. That said, sitting in the booth by myself downstairs every day right now, it took literal years for me to be confident to work on my own. So we started sort of differently, but we're now both kind of indie audio narrators is what I'll say. And that, I think, would be a very useful Slices or very useful thing that we'll do. And we'll do that sometime soon because I know I can think of at least 5 people off the top of my head who have actively asked us for that information, say in the last 6 months.
And we will fight the Terminators and Skynet until the day they put us in the dirt, because AI narration is absolutely a thing that will dominate the industry from now until the heat death of the universe. But we're crotchety, we're old, we're stubborn, and we're a little bit mean. And we are going to continue to narrate things so you can hear a human voice saying how it should be done based on our opinion. And fuck them all. Fuck them all, eh? Y'all can burn in hell. Y'all want to do your AI narration, and I swear to God, I'll put you in the ground.
And you all smell a lot like flowers.
Nice job. Okay, that's it for us for today. Bumblebee, you did not make worm soup today. I don't even know that you did not use earthworms to make soup. That does not happen. That's crazy. Love you too, Don. Let's get the chat up. Daryl, I didn't see you come in. Welcome. Michael Moore has had lots of good, as always, interesting
And Michael mentioned the
this.
Leviathan Chronicles, which we adore. We adore Christoph and the Leviathan Chronicles.
Yes.
And
yes.
the Invenios as well.
Yeah, tons of great stuff. Thank you guys for hanging out all this long. Somehow our audience got bigger as time went on, which is a weird thing, but A and I are starting to get our dander on. Is that right? No, dander up. We're gonna yes. Can you give me some porn music real quick?
Bam, chicka, bam, bam.
We've been getting our groove on.
Brown chicken, brown
Sometimes we got to do an episode every Wednesday. And sometimes it doesn't go well, but sometimes it goes real good. That's what I'm talking about. Also, real quick, if you guys make anything weird ever, if somebody in the office says something, we'd like to get more of our Q2 quarterly reports more present in the information. And you go, oh, yeah. There's nothing wrong with it, but it makes everything weird.
We have stopped recording and we're almost done. But Noah Rattler, I would love to add, I put avocados in my smoothie because it gives them a velvety texture. A's voice has that velvety texture to my narration website, if that's okay with you.
Hold on, real quick. In your velvety voice, take a breath. Can you say, I put avocados in my smoothie to give them velvety texture? Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
I put avocados in my smoothies because it gives them a velvety texture. That's so silly. I
want to put another ring on that shit. Oh my God damn.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. It's such a good day.
These are fucking great. Also, we will see you next week. Wait. Is next week good?
Next week is good. Yeah.
Next week is
Oh,
good.
this is important. If you guys are still here, we are not we're not live streaming on, I think it's the 12th of August. We will not be live streaming on the 12th of August. We are, oh my God,
On vacation.
taking a short, jaunty
On
vacation.
vacation. And we are going to say you all smell an awful lot like flowers. That was a cute A. She was supposed to say flowers and fucking
Well, you
missed
did
it.
this. So I didn't know what that
Yeah,
meant.
sorry. Also, Bumblebee just said, no, that I play bass. What the
No,
fuck,
no,
bro?
that we're not going to be there.
Oh, sorry. I thought she was crapping on me playing bass. I'm like, I cannot have that. I cannot have that.
Not from another musician. Come on.
I don't know. Also, Bumblebee's in a band. Have we seen pictures?
No.
No. Have we
Have
heard
we
any
heard
music?
anything? No.
No. We have nothing. All right, you guys are fantastic.
We're not coming by you, Bumble. I'll just tell you that. We're not telling anybody where we're going because it's a vacation for us.
It's a vacation.
But it's not anywhere near you because we would come find you.
Sadly, no, we absolutely would. You guys are great. We got fucking 40 you on right now at the end of the show. You're great. Go check out Nicholas Sansbury Smith. If you've not read him yet,
absolutely.
go buy Helldivers or buy Extinction Cycle, book number 1.
E-Day.
Yes, E-Day. But right now he's trying to pimp Extinction Cycle, book 1. Go buy the remade book on Kindle, buy the print, whatever. And when the audiobook comes out, buy that too. He's fucking just a delightful dude. You guys all rock. We'll catch y'all later.